Hey guys, what's up? I know it's been a long time since I made a video, but today I decided to make one because of people and their battery issues coming from iOS 8. So I thought I'd clear some stuff up because I know there's a lot of people out there who has been having battery issues and they look through every single video on YouTube and Google to find out how can I improve my iPhone battery. So I thought I'd make a two-part series, two videos, because it's going to be a lot of every single way that you can possibly save battery on your iPhone. I'm literally going to go through every single thing that there is to go through to help you guys learn any way that you can increase your battery. Now here I have my phone up, I have the settings open because a lot of this stuff is actually going to take place in the settings, of course, because that's where you can make the most customization changes and turn things on and off. So let's get started. The first thing that you're going to want to do is, of course, check the usage of the battery. You can go into general and then usage and then battery usage. And here, I'm sure you guys already know, this is pretty obvious, but you have to check like what's using your battery because you can learn to turn these things on or off. So for me, it's just messages, YouTube, my home and lock screen's 11%, and different apps that don't take up that much. Now that's not too bad. I'm currently sitting on 3 hours, but my phone is plugged in, so that's kind of why it says that. So just check to make sure what is taking up your battery first of all, obviously, and then you'll know to turn some of these things on and off. So like if you see something draining your battery heavily, you can make sure to maybe close the app when you're done, or different things depending on what it is. The second tip is super obvious, you've heard it all the time, but I have to go through these because they really do make a difference, and it's your brightness. Now everyone knows like your brightness, you hear it all the time, like should I have auto brightness on and off? Where should I put it? To be honest, it's just up to you, but many people think there's not a difference between this brightness and this brightness, but there really is. There's actually been studies done where if people had full brightness, their phone would get about 6 hours battery, but if you had it all the way like down, you can actually get about 9 hours. So that's a 3-hour difference just between this brightness and this brightness. Of course, you don't want it too dark so that it's not even fun to use your phone, but honestly, there could be like an hour difference between 2/3 brightness and 1/3. So just play around with that, but like I said, the lower the brightness you go, obviously, the less battery that it's going to consume. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to save battery. The next tip I have for you is if you go into your settings, general, and then auto lock. See, sometimes like if you leave your phone turned on just sitting on a counter, that's draining battery. So always make sure that it's on like a minute or maybe 2 minutes depending on how you like it, but just don't have your phone sitting on taking up battery because that can never be good for anything. The next thing is if just make sure when you're using your phone, like if you have Bluetooth on and you don't need it, then just turn it off. And if you have Wi-Fi but you're out using LTE, you don't need the Wi-Fi. And if you really don't need anything, you can just throw it on airplane mode, and that's always going to save you a ton of battery. Like these things are pretty obvious, but just Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are just like they drain people's battery like crazy, and people may not even know that they're turned on. So you just want to make sure that you have these turned off if you're using 3G or something, because they can really save you a lot. So make sure Bluetooth's disabled, and then also AirDrop, make sure that it's off unless you're actually sending something on AirDrop to someone. You really don't need it. I've used AirDrop a few times, but make sure that's off because that's constantly looking for people's phones to send stuff to. The next thing I have for you is if you go into your settings and then you go down to your cellular, or where is it? It's actually at the top. Yep. So if you go to here in cellular, you can turn some of these things off. Like if you don't really need 4G or LTE, you can turn these off and it will save you different battery. And then sometimes when you're on a low signal, it actually takes up more battery because if you have like 1 or 2 bars, it takes more effort to keep connecting. So you can always turn your cellular data off if you really don't need it or anything, because again, this is just a huge battery drainer and just stuff like that. Another way is in your sounds, it doesn't really take up that much battery, but like I said, I was going to be going through every single tip that you can possibly do because I know you guys want the most possible battery out of your phones. It's just turning off your vibrations. It does actually, it may sound crazy, but it does actually take a little bit of battery when you're using the vibration, especially if you have it vibrate every single time you take a text, you get a text over time, that will end up going using more battery. Another thing that a really good tip that I hope all of you guys know by now, but just in case you don't, is the reduce motion on general and accessibility. Basically, what that does is when you tilt your phone, your wallpaper doesn't kind of move to give you like a dynamic feel. So just turn this on and your wallpaper won't really move in the background. And that just saved me loads of battery. Another tip that I can't really show you is just like if you're playing a lot of games, like 3D games such as Infinity Blade or like CSR Racing, your iPhone battery is going to be drained quickly. So like just make sure, like if you know that you're going to be playing these 3D games, just know that your battery is going to be drained super quickly, because that is just going to make a whole lot of difference. Another thing is just always close your apps, you just go up here and just make sure they're all swiped to close. It's super easy, and it will help you a lot in the long run to make sure all your stuff is closed. My last tip for this part is probably going to be to go to your general, and you're going to go down to Spotlight Search. You really don't need Spotlight Search. You can literally turn everything off. Like there's different things. Like I don't use Spotlight Search, so I could almost turn all these off because I'm not going to be searching for this stuff. So if you do that and go through on all these like suggestions and web results and stuff so that you don't need to search, it's going to save you a lot of battery life.